a shovel in her hand, she roams the universe, exploring every land, no map, no reverse. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck.
Because, you know. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? It is Thursday already. My goodness, when you have a few days off because you screw up your meds, the whole week just kind of flies by. You know how it is. Yeah, I when I get overtired and just when I'm doing too much and I don't stop and take the time for myself, I kind of wear myself out, which point I sometimes, even though they're in blister packs, I sometimes forget to take my meds, and that will throw me into a spin that takes me, 2-3 days to get myself back on track, where I'm not feeling completely, stupid. I still feel like I'm still last night with Mighty, this morning with Johnny. I'm still, my timing's not there. I keep stepping on them worse than normal. But yeah, I don't hear my eyes moving in their, sockets anymore. So that's really good. That's the key that I know. That's the sign that I notice that tells me, oops, something's wrong with your meds. You've probably forgotten them. Hello, hello, hello. So we've got MJ. Good to see you. I love that you show up early. It's just to make sure you say hi. JKD Buck, how you doing? Oh, Canada. And dude, you have no idea. Here, let me do this first. It's really the state-funded media over here in Canada is just loving this Katy Perry, Justin Trudeau thing. Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Apparently they've been friends for a while. They had dinner, but according to all reports, it was platonic, not romantic. And then he was seen, I think it was last night, he was seen with his daughter at the Katy Perry show. So yeah, he's having a good time of it. I just got mad at your sister for doing that. I cannot allow the cats on the table anymore because it's not cool. I use a torch, darn it. I do not need the cat to come hopping through and catch a tail on fire and do not need that. It's not that one I'm worried about. She's a scaredy cat. It's Boo. She doesn't give a crap what I'm doing here. When she wants to go from there to there, she'll go through here no matter what I'm doing here. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing there, Buck. I don't know if they're trying to play it up as a thing. I don't think it's working if they're trying to do that. Already reports from the restaurant said it was very platonic. not romantic at all. Um, Besides which, from my understanding, he prefers his men to be men. You know? Oh my goodness. Hello, Dazzer. How you doing? MJ says, I think the O in Trudeau is one letter too many. Yes, well, if you spell it almost properly, it's Turd-O. EAU is French for water. So he's basically shit water. So it's like toilet water, but worse. So that's how I remember it. Hello, American Century. How you doing? Can't stay, but was invited, so I thought it's only polite to stop by. Thank you. Kiss the host, steal some silverware, forget to flush, and take my leave. That sounds about perfect. Thank you for stopping by. Hello, Mr. Q. How you doing? And she's way too old for him. He likes younger ladies. I don't know. See, I have the feeling he likes the younger ladies because they flatter his ego. But I think he swings the other way, as we have seen him, the way he deals with Macron, for example. Gavin Newsom is another one. I think he enjoys it. He enjoys the sex times with the boys, and he just likes the ego petting that he gets from the young girls. You know, the teenagers and the young 20s. He's a good-looking man. I hate to say it, but he's a good-looking man. You can't deny it. And I think he gets a lot out of the younger women fawning over him. So I think he stays away from the older women because they're like we figured him out. Oh no, Buck, that's not very nice. He can come in and forget to flush, but don't upper deck the toilet. That you just can't ever clean that shit out. Pun fully intended. And upper deck the toilet. That's just cruel and unusual punishment, bud. My goodness. And the silverware, it's okay. It's not silver. It's like sterling silver. Or like like the stuff we've got on that covers our fridges and stuff. It's cheap. It's not the good silver. American Century, fine. I didn't even want the silverware. Well, good, because it's cheap. It's cheap crap. Dazzer, I thought he liked boys more. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure he likes the boys for the sexy time. But he likes young girls because they feed his ego. You know. I have very dark thought about Trudeau, especially during the trucker protests. Mask off. Yep. Yeah. MJ is going to deny it because he can't. Fair enough. Okay. Hello, Squabby. Six says golden nuggets. Thank you. Hello. How you doing? Thank you again for the birthday treat. That was awesome of you. I appreciate it very, very much. Yeah, about the trucker protests, there is still debanking going on in the country of Canada. I know, shock, horror, surprise. There were two people who were kind of picked up and set aside as the ringleaders of the trucker rally, and they've been going through court ever since then. They've both spent time in jail. Not fun. This last week, they were finally doing her sentencing, Tamara Litch's sentencing. And during the sentencing trial, while that was going on, the government was quietly debanking her lawyer. So her lawyer's just, doing the lawyer jobs and getting debanked without their knowledge. So they come out of court and that's what they got to run into. So that's fun. Also, there's a independent journalist. I don't want to do that. They're a real independent journalist. I don't want to say the name though, because I think I've got it wrong in my brain and I don't want to name the wrong person. Um, but a pretty well known Canadian independent journalist. I get a lot of my stuff from her off of Twitter. Um, so yeah, she was debanked recently as well. Um, I should double check that, see who, what. Oh, and yes, people keep blaming me for the fire, for the smoke in your lovely country. It's all from Canada. And I keep saying you can't blame me because we're actually doing pretty good out here. Well, that is no longer true. The Okanagan is now on fire again. As per usual, this time of year, when you don't do preventative fire measures throughout the year, you end up with forest fires in the summertime. It's the weirdest thing. We've got heat and lightning sparking dozens of new fires in BC. There's also a recent fire, I believe it's the one near Lytton, that was started by an overheating car. Overheating cars are not rare here. Driving the Coquihalla in the middle of summer, it's yeah, you better hope that your car is in good condition and can handle that sort of thing. It took me and my at the time husband like an entire day to drive what should have been just a 6-hour drive, because we had to keep stopping and letting the car cool off, which is very, very hard to do, to get your overheating car to cool off when the only thing you can do to cool it off is pull it off to the side, the edge of the highway rather, and sit in the boiling heat as the sun bakes down on the overheating car and the asphalt, and it radiates heat everywhere. Yeah, that was not a fun drive home. That was not fun. But we did make it. So I guess there's that. Have a good one, American Century. That Western Canada independent movement is moving on up. Yes, I know. I know it's I think if Saskatchewan and Alberta make some like serious steps in starting that process, I think you'll see the rest of Western Canada join in fairly quickly. There'd be a fight up over here in BC. There'd be a fight put up at first because, of course, the CCP runs the Lower Mainland. In my opinion, because I have to do your own research. La 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 la. But BC is kind of under control of the CCP with the minority government, shall we say, of the Khalistani movement or group. They're a gang in India, but here they're a group. So yeah, you'll have a little bit of resistance towards leaving Canada from BC, but at the end of the day, I think what we'd come on over to is, for as long as Canada has been Canada, the East has been using and abusing the West. And I think it's, we're overdue. I would never have thought this prior to COVID. I never would have expected us to be contemplating this. But it really is, the world has changed since COVID, and my country has changed a lot. And it's time, rather than just putting up with it, it's time for us to separate and become our own independent country. I think that would be the best move for all involved. That would also be a heck of a lot easier for us, because we wouldn't have to worry about disentangling ourselves from, the crown, the English crown. We'd be a whole new thing. They can keep the crown over there in the East. They can love on those royals all they want, but we would start our own new country. I think, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it would only be fair and make sense that we would take our fair share of the Canadian national debt. But I don't think we should take I think there'll be a lot of discussion on just how much we should take, um, versus what the Ottawa would think we should, how much of that we should take. But either which way, at this point, um, I would rather that. I would love to have the Republic of Western Canada be a thing. I would love to see us take the United States Constitution and Bill of Rights and maybe rework it a little bit for modern day. Um, but I don't think there's much that would have to be reworked, and go from there. I think that would be everyone's, best option. Um, you know, I'm fairly certain that if the three of us fell in line, BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, I'm fairly certain Manitoba, Nunavut, Northwest Territories, Yukon, I'm fairly sure we could all just, agree to work together, and the others can just do whatever they want. We don't have to fund them anymore. We don't have to short our people um, just to fund Ottawa. We don't have to do it anymore. Like I said, I don't think this would have been possible pre-COVID, but I think the world has changed so much since COVID that people are really looking at all the options now, and this is a good one. Oh, Mr. Q. Unstringing barbed wire is easy, but it's better with a cold beer and bud. It definitely is. I never had to unstring or restring barbed wire. My uncle, my mom's side of the family were ranchers, cattle ranchers. Um, I've seen my uncle play with the barbed wire. I was little though. He actually was really cool. My uncle Tom, he lost his eye as a, I think it was as a child or as early teen. Either way, he lost his eye on barbed wire. Um, Plucked it right on out. So my little brother and I used to love to hang out with him. We'd help him roll cigarettes with the old cigarette rolling machines and the one long cigarette tube that you put it in there, and when you closed it, it had the razor blades, so it would roll and slice all the cigarettes in one, and you could get like 3 or 4 or 5. I can't even remember how many every time you did that. So yeah, my brother and I would sit there and roll cigarettes for Uncle Tom and my granddad. And that's my memories of that. Um, but yeah, unstringing barbed wire is, from my understanding, it is fairly easy, but you are standing out there in the beaten down sun. Yeah, much better with a cold beer, I'd bet. Mr. Q says, I think Manitoba will go with Alberta. As far as I'm concerned, that's where most of my family's at. They all say the same thing. Honestly, Manitoba has been so mistreated by the East. They would definitely come. I wish I could find it again. There was a short I've seen a couple of times recently. A short. It's a person in Manitoba showing their just how bad their water is in Manitoba. And they made a point of saying they were not on the res. This was actually Manitoba, not res. And you turn the tap on and it starts out clear, and then it just gets darker and darker until it's like black, and the whole cup is just full of black. It's just awful, awful, awful. They've been so totally mistreated over in Manitoba. I'm certain they'd hop on over to the Republic of Western Canada. Why should we suffer big ears on your own? Well, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't. Eastern Canada would still suffer him with you. They'd still be there. We could excise ourselves from the royal family, Uncle Tom. But I'm clear colored. I know, right? It's the weirdest thing. He was pretty clear colored too, except for the farmer's tan. He sure looked black from like here down and from here up the back of his neck and his face and his, yeah. And they all wore those those really awesome Western shirts that farmers and ranchers did back in the day with the snaps and the little pointed pockets and collar. And yeah. Mr. Q says he's working 212 rolls of barn wire, 50 yards per roll. Hopefully it's enough to do 17-acre pasture for a guy. Yeah, I would have no idea how to go about figuring out how much you'd need for that. That's why you, sir, are the farmer. I am just the dumbass who sits here and talks. Hello, Wild. How you doing? Good to see ya. Hello, Mike. Oh, clicking on the wrong thing. Hello, Mikey Two Milks. Good to see you. British Mikey. Great. Oh my goodness. Mikey, we've got an actual Brit. Bad Dazzer. Do you want to show Mikey how Brit really speak? I guess it kind of depends on where you're at too. You sound a little bit different from that though, don't you, Dazzer? Good to see you, Mikey. AP is saying Ontario and Quebec are cruising to be the only Canadian provinces. Well, you know, the problem there is, unfortunately, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, they're stuck over there too. And just by virtue of geography, it would be very, very inconvenient to try and work them into the Republic of Western Canada. And it does suck because I love those folks over there. But yeah, Ottawa and Quebec, le Bloc Québécois, they can go fuck themselves. And if it means we have to say goodbye to our Newfie brothers and sisters, so be it. We can always have visits. But it really is. It's not worth our while. It hasn't been worth our while for a very long time. And now the world is in such a shake-up position that we could actually make it happen. There's a lot of people with Qual last name. I don't know. Qual last name in Canada. The only higher place is Norway. Okay, interesting. My people are, well, my dad's side, my people are originally from Norway. And slowly over the generations, they made it all the way to the farthest west coast of BC. So, yes. Fingers crossed he won't last that long. Honestly, big ears, yeah, he's not long for this world. That's what he gets. He's waiting and just so just, you know, he finally gets the throne, and he's not going to last very long. And it looks like William really isn't too impressed with his dad and Camilla. So I can see William coming in and shaking everything up just to put his own imprint on everything. I honestly wouldn't recognize William any more than I recognize Prince Charles as a monarch. He's not a monarch. Well, I guess he's still considered a monarch. But yeah, Queen Elizabeth II was a phenomenal woman. She's probably just as dirty as the rest of them by virtue of being Queen Elizabeth II, her bloodline and whatnot. She's one of the factions that has been after this global thing for forever and a day. So yeah, she was probably just as dirty as the rest of them, but I liked her. I really liked her. I thought she was a great role model to have as a female growing up in the 80s and 90s. At the time, you know, I think she's still one of those people that I would really give just about anything to be able to have a sit down dinner and conversation with. I think she would be very, very interesting person to talk to. And I had no problem looking up at her as you know, my ruler. You know, I had no problem with that. But the rest of them, fuck it. I'm done. I'm done with the royal party. They really don't do much for us. It's mostly for show anyways. So we really don't need to worry. Oh, look at that. Dazzer. Run and tell Mighty. We've got hello, Jeffrey Epstein. How you doing? Good to see you again. I keep forgetting to tell Mighty that we've got Jeffrey that likes to show up to our Johnny and Digger streams in the daytime. I think this is the first time you've come to see one of my streams. So thank you and welcome. But yeah, Mighty, our buddy Mighty Meat would have a whole lot of questions for you. Hello, AP. How you doing again? Good to see you. Mr. Q wore a nice snap-up Western shirt with a tie on for the Steel Toe show. Oh, nice. Nice. I used to love wearing those shirts. I had a jacket. It was like navy blue and it was nice. It was stiffer material, but it was in that same Western style setup. So it had the pearlescent or opalescent snaps on the pockets and everything. I loved it. I wore it. I honestly, I don't know where I finally lost it. On one of the many acid trips through the bushes is probably where it went to, but I lived in that thing. I love that style. Looks good on a girl's body too. Hello, Amazing Disgrace. It's been a minute. Good to see you, bud. Oh, Johnny, just found out my nephew got married. Well, congratulations to the nephew. That's cool. Don't you start to feel old when your nieces and nephews start getting married? Yeah. Yeah. My oldest nephew is about 24, maybe 25 now. And it's because I don't get to see him on the daily. It's still a shock when I see him and I go, shit, I remember when you were, great baby, but like, elementary school and stuff. And then I moved out here. So I haven't seen him for like the last 10 years. I don't see him on the regular anymore. So when I do see him, it's quite the shock. I start to feel very old. Mr. Q is saying, yeah, but Newfoundland and all that can just become Upper New York or Maine. There you go. Upper New York or Maine, they probably wouldn't mind that. Because I'm sure they want to get away from Ottawa and Quebec as well. Jeffrey Epstein, I do like that fella Polyev. Okay. I do too. He's much more fiscally responsible. I really appreciate that. He is as dirty as the rest of them. Again, for my protection, I am talking out my ass. You must do your own research. Everything I'm saying is just from what I've seen, and take it with a huge grain of salt. But from what I've seen in the research that I've done, he is a fiscally responsible Trudeau. He works for the UN, unlike Trudeau, who worked for the WEF and the CCP, unlike Carney, who is World Bank all the time. He is Mr. Globalism. I don't know. So yeah, I like Polyev, but he's as dirty as the rest of them. So do your research on them. I do find it interesting that Carney wins the seat as prime minister, and he immediately jet sets off to Europe to celebrate with his European banker friends and Keir Starmer and the like. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, we've got all these European countries saying Canada is the most European country that's not in the EU. And they're wanting us to join the EU, which is like the most ridiculous thing I could possibly think of. And just another reason why we need the Republic of Western Canada, because we do not need to be a part of the EU. We're North America, for fuck's sakes. And have you seen what's happened to the EU since they became the EU? Like, there's a reason England fought so hard and put up with so much to get out of it. I don't know why they got into it in the first place. I can't remember. I just remember how hard you guys fought to get the fuck out of it. And yeah, we don't need to do that. We should be learning from other people's errors. We shouldn't be repeating them. Considering English-French relations throughout history, how does Canada exist in its present form? You know, it's ingrained habitual um, butt fucking. You know, that's pretty much it. We'll smile and nod and we'll put up with a fuck of a lot. And like I said, if it hadn't been for COVID, I really don't think Canada would be in the position that we're in now, talking about potential separation. You know, that it wouldn't, I don't think that would have ever been a possibility. But the world has just been flipped upside down and shaken so much that now's our shot. Now is the first time that the West has ever had a real chance to stand up for ourselves, you know? Oh, Mr. Q saying, I don't know whether to feel happy or sad for Johnny's nephew. Feel happy for him. He's a newlywed. He's happy can be right now. Hello, Johnny. So we meet again, says Jeffrey Epstein. AP is saying they are, but the Nova Scotians are not happy last I heard. Newfies are just looking at Ontario like, what the fuck? And Quebec is just Quebec. Exactly. I don't think Nova Scotians, I don't think the Newfies, I don't think any of them want anything to do with the federal government. And like I said, I think this is the first time in the state of the world that there's a viable opportunity here for us to take a stand. And I'm really hoping that we take it. I really am hoping that we take it. AP, there you go. I'll recognize Catherine and that's it. But you see, if you recognize Catherine, you have to recognize William. And I will totally recognize William as the King of England. And whatever other stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, the royal family doesn't have any real say or pull in anything that has happened in BC in, decades. To almost say a generation. But yeah, Catherine is most definitely the, this generation's Lady Diana, Princess Di. She is definitely the one wonderful shiny thing that they've got going for them, and I really hope they don't fuck that up. Bad Dads are saying they're all members of the UF or WEF. No, not everyone. Okay. In my opinion, having done my own research for many, many, many years, because I love rabbit holes and all the weirdest conspiracy theories, there are roughly 13 to 15 separate factions who have been working over the thousands of years to create a one world control system. There are different factions. I think people who are members of the WEF and work for the WEF, that's a faction. World Bank is a different faction. The Catholic Church is another faction. There are multiple factions from Asia, and it's, it's all a matter of doing your research and connecting your own dots. Like I said, I thought a lot of this stuff was crazy stuff, so I look into it because I enjoy the heck out of it. But yeah, not everyone works for the WEF. There's different factions, and they're all working together at the moment. In my opinion, they're working together at the moment, as they have been for thousands of years, working together to get to that point. Once they finally achieve one world global order, one government to control the globe, at that point, these 13 to 15 I shouldn't have taken this off. Those 13 to 15 factions are going to have to fight themselves, fight each other, to decide who finally reigns supreme. But we're not quite there yet, so they still have to work together to a certain extent. And there's a lot of really fun tinfoil stuff if you want to look into JD Vance versus Trump. and his Vance's controllers versus Trump's controllers, because they're actually completely separate factions. But they're working together, which is kind of odd, but they're working together because they're going for this main goal. I think that's good for the tinfoil hat now. That's how I feel about Pope John Paul II. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was actually surprised. There were a lot of tinfoil hat conspiracy theories regarding the first ever Jesuit Pope. And when all is said and done, and he has now been buried or cremated or whatever it is they do, I think he was probably buried. He didn't do or didn't trigger most of what the first Jesuit Pope was supposed to have done. So it's early days now for this most recent Pope. But I don't think he's Jesuit. So I don't know how that works. Do all the conspiracy theories just, or did the Jesuits not do what they had planned to do when they finally got their first Jesuit Pope? I don't know. I don't know what happens. What happens with tinfoil hat conspiracy theories when they're not true, when they go and die? I don't know how we treat those. But yeah, no, it's I was kind of disappointed from a chaotic neutral stance. I was really kind of hoping that a lot of the first Jesuit Pope conspiracy theories would come true, just because it would have made for a lot of fun. Big bowl of popcorn, some soda on tap, and just sit back and enjoy the show. If half of those conspiracy theories had come true, the second coming would have been, if not here already, then just around the corner. So I was kind of disappointed that he didn't do near what he was meant to do. He did usher in a friendly comfortableness with the two slug butts or LGBTQ group. So he did do that, but he didn't usher in the Sunday law. They didn't do a lot of stuff that they were meant to have done. Hello, Memento Mori. How you doing? Mr. Q is saying you talked about Sydney Sweeney thing with Johnny today, but you don't remember. Oh, I totally remember Brooke Shields with the Jordache jeans. Yeah. Oh yeah. Every guy wanted to get in them, and every girl wished she could look like that in them. There we go. Jordache ad. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Apparently she redid. Apparently back in 2022, Brooke Shields posed topless in her Jordache jean ad. So apparently, oh, I see. Okay. I'm thinking of a different ad. I'm mistaking that ad. Oh, stop. I want to see it in YouTube. I can't win for losing. I'm going to get an ad no matter which way I go about it. So are you talking about this one, the 1979? Okay, no, that's not. I can't play that one. Shit. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Calvin Klein, the Calvin Klein ads from the 90s. Saying the Brooke Shields Jordache jeans was from 79. I was born in 79, so I definitely don't remember anything from there. I was mistaking them for I wasn't it Brooke Shields still? Who was it now in the Calvin Klein ad? Maybe it was Kate Moss. I don't know. I'm mixing them all up in my head now. Wild Saffron is saying William is WEF. Also, he has some green energy initiatives. He's all about New World Order. Yes. He is royal family, royal blood, though. He will be on the side of a certain very famous family that also has Trump on their team. William's father is very famously photographed with the head of that family poking him in the chest forcefully. So yeah, it's they're most definitely over and above that. They work for that family. People today are lost. Everyone forgot how to think on their own, and this is the result of social media. Yeah, losing your shit over denim on a white chick is just stupid. TikTok brain rot. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, hello, Slidify. How you doing? It's good to see you. Oh, Mighty reads your messages as often as he reads mine then, eh? Okay, fair enough. England is being punished for leaving. Oh yeah, they're still, and you know who they have to thank for all that? Surprise! Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney was in charge of getting England out of the EU with the whole Brexit thing. Yeah, Mark Carney is the one who helped you guys figure that all out. And didn't the deal he get you, wasn't that sweet? Aren't you just loving it? Still, after how many years now? You're still being punished for it? Yeah, our prime minister did that. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see what he does to our country now. Just can't wait. I mean, heck, he's going to acknowledge the state of Palestine in September. Like, because we need to do that, because anyone gives a shit what Canada thinks about Palestine, right? The only reason he's doing it is to create waves, to cause more trouble. He is dirty little banker man, and what he did to England with Brexit is nothing compared to the mess he is going to make in Canada. Like I said, he's actually got other leaders in the EU calling Canada the most European nation outside of Europe. Like they're pushing it. They've all got the same sentence again, the same line. Can't remember what the words were exactly, but they're all pushing it now. And it's he really does want to just ruin this country. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's probably guilt and power, or greed and power. Oh, MJ's got to go. It's ADL time. Yep. I will actually, you know what I will do? I'm going to be smart. Because when I get done chatting with you guys, I am supposed to be going straight into Bible study. But after I've been talking to you guys for all that, I sometimes forget to go into that Bible study. I forget completely. So there we go. I have got that open, and now I can minimize this, and at least it'll be there. I do have dinner plans tonight, but at least I can pop in and say hi. It's sad that everything is racist, bigoted, sexist, fascist. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Far left or far right. Everyone's a keyboard warrior, but a complete cuck in real life. Well, and that's, at the end of the day, that's the big thing. The bulk of the majority of the regular public are sheeple. We've been dumbed down throughout the education system. We've not only been dumbed down, we've been taught how to memorize and regurgitate, but not actually retain. We haven't been taught how to think. So we've been systematically dumbed down through the education system. They have been softening the edges on every single law imaginable, without our knowledge. They've passed laws that we don't know anything about, that we won't know anything about until they decide to suddenly enforce them all at the same time. Um, and we're all just lazy. Or not even lazy. That's not even right, because the cost of living is so high. Like, it's so hard just to get by. Most people are too busy working and existing, working enough to be able to afford to exist, and then going to sleep and doing it all over again. You got 2 days on the weekend. It's just barely enough to recharge your batteries to start all over again on a Monday. And that's everyone's stuck in that rat race, that existence. We've become sheeple, and we're too busy trying to survive, to notice what's going on in the world at large. The only reason I had the time to do all the research and looking into things as I have done is because I was unable to work anymore. I am completely unreliable when it comes to like shift work or that sort of thing. I can't tell you from day to day or hour to hour necessarily how I'm going to feel. Summertime is great. It's even sitting here for hours at a time, as long as I'm stretching in between times, I can do this. This is the good time of year for me. But I'm really not very reliable. So I have all this time on my hands and I've got a brain. So I started doing research and looking into stuff. But most people only know as much as they have been able to ingest throughout the hectic day. And most of that is the mainstream media and their lies. So at the end of the day, people really do think that everything is racist, bigoted, sexist, fascist, anti this and anti that. People really do think it is that way because that's what they've been told it is. And they don't have the time to stop the rat race, the hamster wheel, and take a look at the world and see that it's not actually true. Hello, Emiso. How you doing? Yes, Amazing Grace is saying he's rooting for Dazzler. So am I. Um, we're all in similar boats, being satellites to the royal family. It was really interesting to watch how each of the different Western satellite countries, how they reacted during the COVID. It really was a test run, in my opinion, and they tested a bunch of different ways to approach this sort of a situation, to take control of the people. And they tested them all and they were able to see what worked best and what didn't work. And oh my goodness. Oh, I couldn't. Suddenly I'm hearing stuff in my ears in the background and like flames and like whoosh. And I couldn't for the life of me. I thought I was going nuts, but no, it was the Bible study starting in the background. Scared the heck out of myself. But yeah, I think we were all test subjects, and then that's how we all did things a little bit different. And they saw what worked and what didn't. So they're gearing up for the next round. Someone had said last week, someone had mentioned that I think it was Idaho or Indiana. It was, oh, I can't remember. One of your states that starts with an I think, was actually passing the Sunday laws. And I couldn't find anything. I searched, I looked and looked, but I couldn't find anything. So if anyone knows anything about any of your American states passing the blue laws, the Sunday law, anything like that, please let me know. The Sunday law is what's referred to, it's in Revelation. You will neither be able to buy nor sell without the mark of the beast. We're going to be forced to worship together the whole world will be forced to worship together on the same day, which would be forcing you to worship on the wrong day if if you believe that Saturday is the seventh day and the day that God said would be the day to worship, would be the Sabbath. So yeah, there's a whole lot of interesting things, but I think a lot of American states call them blue laws, is what I was seeing in my research. But one of those would be, the whole town closes down every Sunday because it's church day. That's the Sunday law. AP. Oh, hello, Paul Steve. How you doing? I nearly missed you. AP is saying Canada needs to come back to being the loft apartment above a great party with the military that can actually handle business. Yeah, I know. It would be lovely if we could. I would like to see it. The people in control will not allow that to happen. And I don't know how we can, the best way to go about fixing that, again, is the Republic of Western Canada. It would be the easiest, the cleanest solution for all of that stuff. Johnny's cousin is consummating his marriage right now. Probably. Just got married. You tend to do an awful lot of that. Yeah, it's the leaders we have to get rid of before they get us back in it. Exactly. And it's the same here. It's the same with Australia. Our leaders are taking us down a path that we don't want to be on, but we have no way to stop them. And yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how we go about trying to take our countries back. Honestly, I don't know. I think by virtue of numbers, Canada is almost lost. And by virtue of those same immigrant numbers, UK might be lost already. They've had too many people from a totally different belief style in just take over the Western Christian belief system. We have a certain set, whether you're Christian or not, for example, Christian or not, America's laws, the basic framework of America was based on the 10 Commandments. And we need to remember that. We need to get back to that. And I don't know that we can necessarily get that back. We have imported so many people from third worlds and from religions that are completely opposite to Christian. I don't think we have a society that is willing to live by the Christian morals anymore. Again, I think the easiest thing for us would be just separate from Ottawa. Just leave. Sorry. And I don't know how you guys over there in the UK would do it because you're just an island. You're all squished onto a tiny little island. At least here in Canada, there's a lot of space. They have imported 25% of our national population in immigrants. And you can tell in the way things are changing, but at least we're not overcrowded. We're not living on top of each other like you guys are over there. So that helps the tempers to stay a little bit calmer. Winnipeg is having a very hard time right now. There's been a raft of basically strong arming, mob style strong arming of convenience stores and mom and pop restaurants. They get the same 4 dudes walking in to the stores. They're caught on camera. It's the same 4 dudes. Maybe there's 5 dudes walking into the different locations, threatening the owners. If you don't start paying up, blah, 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 we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They have actually set fire to multiple businesses. Several families of a certain religion, multiple families have had to leave everything that they have, and run away from Winnipeg. There's a few that have left the whole province because it's a certain group of people that did this exact same thing and do this exact same thing back in their home country, have now come in to Canada, and they're running the same scams. And the police have them on video camera. They have the same people as they have on camera threatening the owners. Those same people are also on camera walking down an alley, and then off screen you see whoosh lights and some, embers that come sparking across, and those same people running away from the sudden fire. So police officers, they know who's doing this, and they know who's calling the shots. Nothing has happened. Nothing. The families that own these businesses are being harassed and threatened. Nothing has happened. It's so bad that, like I said, multiple families have now just left Winnipeg and even left the whole province. They just left everything they own, just walk away from it all. I mean, to be fair, quite a few of them have had their businesses burned to the ground. So there's really not a whole lot left there. But it's it's obvious. People, do you know what's going on? You know who's doing it, and nothing is happening to stop it at all, except the police who are going, well, we can't say anything because it's an ongoing investigation. Well, yeah, but in the meantime, families are being chased out of the province. That's not the way Canada should be. But that's the way the EU is. AP says, I don't recognize royalty any country. I'll respect them if I'm in their country, but that's it. Yeah, I'll give them respect. Do their station, but I don't think they're better than me. I think they're just richer than me. I'll respect them. But I would like to think they'd pay me that same amount of respect. I mean, honestly, they probably wouldn't, but I give them respect. I just don't recognize their alleged control over myself. I don't. I can't. Queen Elizabeth was an amazing person, one of a kind people, likes of which we will not see again. Her son and his son, not at all. They're people just like the rest of us. They're fallible. They're just rich. So I can't acknowledge them as being my controllers, my rulers. Yes, you will see, Dazzler, you will see Big Ears and William at the meetings. I have a feeling that WEF is actually controlled by that family. I think it's just another arm of that family's umbrella. In my opinion, speaking out my ass. Do your own research, like I said. Amazing saying, I haven't seen any worthy leaders to replace them yet. Talking about the royal family. I don't think in this day and age, in this digital day and age, a royal family just cannot expect to claim the same deference and respect. Pardon me. I don't think we know too much about them. We've seen them fail too many times. We know they're just normal people. Back in the day, there was this, this feeling, and the media helped to keep it that way, that they were different. They were a step above. They were a higher quality people, human, than we were. But nowadays, like we've seen just how fallible they are. We can see the bad mistakes and the lies, and we can see Prince Andrew, they're not special people anymore. It's like when Japan, when the emperor was finally came face to face with what's his name, your American dude. Um, it was the first time the emperor had been seen, been pictured, and people were, up until that point, the Japanese people considered him to be a god, like a literal god on earth. And then after that point, the mysticism, the magic surrounding him was erased, and everyone saw him for what he was, just a man doing the best he can with the job that he's got, with the life that he was born into. Um, and yeah, you can't. It's hard to give those people the same deference and power over control over us now, because we can tell they're not actually magic. They're not actually gods, you know. IMF is burning down Canada to create the climate change they've been crying about for the past 50 years. Potentially. They have said, certainly in the last decade, during Trudeau Jr.'s reign, he actually passed laws making it illegal for fire prevention techniques to be implemented throughout the year. So he's, in fact, in his decade term, he put us in the position that we are now in, so that we burn every year. We burn every summer, and now the East is burning too. It's not just us out West. The East is burning too every single year. And it's simply because of the laws that were passed to make it illegal to do like controlled burns, back burning, like all sorts of throughout the year preventative measures. Ranchers used to be able to let their animals, cattle or sheep or what have you. You used to always see random animals just roaming about provincial lands, grazing. And that helped a lot with the undergrowth, the stuff that catches fire every spring or every summer. That helped a lot with it. There was a lot of different things that we used to do, especially in BC. There's a lot of things that we used to do that they passed laws against. Even the reservation is not allowed to do the fire prevention measures that it used to do by law now. And so instead, we're stuck doing this, living under an evacuation warning and no fires warnings all year round. Like I don't think they even turned it off. The fire ban, they didn't turn it off last fall. They just left it on in BC. So there's just been a no fire ban on for a year now. It's, they're doing all these things on purpose. It also, if the outer areas, if rural is burning all the time, that forces people to come and live in the cities, move closer to the cities, those 15-minute cities that they really want us to embrace. So if it's burning every summer, you're not going to have a whole lot of people wanting to live out there, right? All the same snake, different heads. Exactly. IMF also has, there we go, also has Africa divided up into climate zones. It's, it's all part of the plan. They've been working on this plan for a very, very, very long time. And yeah, we're sitting at the ass end of it. So, kind of like the Bible, if you know where to look, and you can understand what you're seeing and reading, you can tell that we're at the end. You can tell where we're at within the grand scope of things. And the globalists are almost in full control. Hello, Rex and Dart. You just shift gears. They backed off this time to throw you off, so you won't see it coming the next time. Yeah. keep the tinfoil hat on, right? Yeah, and they do. That's a lot like the Epstein thing and the Obama thing. They like to throw things out at us to keep us worried about the wrong stuff. And when we start to get too heated about a certain topic, they back off. Um, because they don't have to ever give up any gains that they make. They just have to stop pushing for a while. And then everyone goes back into complacency and they start pushing again and make a little bit more gains and a little bit more gains every time. And it's I heard it said about the CCP, but it's basically anyone who is power hungry. You never give up your gains. Never give up your gains. Even if you're willing to stop for a moment and not push any further, you don't give up any ground. And CCP is really, really good at that. They push really hard and they make some ground and then they stop pushing and everyone goes, oh, yay, they're stopped. They're letting up for a minute. We can breathe. And then they, oh, breaking news. Trump increases tariff on Canada to 35% across the board. Okay. Yeah. See, we're lucky here in BC. We've got copper mines and stuff. It's not going to hurt us as much as it will hurt other parts of the country. Do we have picks? That was like 20 minutes ago. I can't remember what I was talking about. Picks, or it didn't happen. I don't know what I need picks for. You'll have to remind me. I just remember, Slighty Pie had a pair of the Jordache jeans back in the 70s. Mr. Q saying, I just remember she was 14 years old when she did the sports bra and in the 80s, and her pants were half unbuttoned. Boy, I had some fun with that when I was a kid. And Wild saying, I couldn't afford Jordache. I wore Levi's. Yeah, we were Sally Ann kids. My grandma worked for the Salvation Army, and we happened to have the Salvation Army warehouse depot. That's where my grandma worked, and it just happened to be behind the school parking lot of the elementary school that I used to go to. So after school, my brother and I would just cross the parking lot and go hang out with grandma at the Sally Ann store. And it was this ginormous warehouse. And all the donations would come into that location and they would go through it all and then divvy it up and send it out to the different Sally Ann stores in the smaller towns. Oh man, it was a lot of fun. So I'm pretty sure I had Jordache, but only because we got them from the Sally Ann. So they were definitely used. 70s jeans made a woman's butt look like two bananas resting back to back. Mr. Q is saying, I think Calvin Klein was Christy Brinkley. Yeah, either way, I was definitely mixing up the two. I was not thinking of the Brooke Shields one. Oh, Wild remembers a funny movie about designer jeans, so she'll be right back. Mr. Q saying, I guess I just had old magazines. That could be it too. Oh, wow. Bad Dazzler is saying to Mr. Q, we used to have topless page 3 models every day in the newspapers. Oh, wow. I know back in the day, the Sears catalog underwear section was very, very popular. And I know that my little brother absolutely adored the Victoria's Secret magazines that would come in the mail. I think it was like a quarterly thing. They weren't monthly. They didn't come that often, but there was definitely more than once a year. The Victoria's Secret magazine would come out, and it would disappear before Mom or I ever got a chance to look at it. It's strange. Kate Moss is way younger. She was late 90s. Okay, so yeah, it was probably Christy Brinkley that I was thinking of then. You're right, because Kate Moss is my age, or my generation. Actually, Calvin Klein was the dude in Back to the Future. I remember those Calvin Klein. I don't even I don't know. I can't be sure if I remember the face of the man on that particular pair of Calvin Klein boxers, but I do remember that ad. The abs attached to the Calvin Klein boxer briefs. Yeah, that's what I remember. Mr. Q saying, well, damn, I didn't get a page 3, just a Sears catalog and maybe some magazines, right? Sears catalog was a biggie. Change the B to a W and you're spot on. Hello, No Fox. How you doing? Yes, I am feeling much better. Thank you. It's a funny thing about antidepressants and stuff. They really fuck with you if you accidentally forget to take some. It really, really messes you up. It's always about money and power, of course. Socialism. Yep. I got to go over here. There it is. I am clicking on it, Wild. Oh, I clicked on it because I'm not paying YouTube. From what I hear, paying YouTube, you still end up with watching ads. And even if you didn't, I can't afford it. There we go. Okay. So Fine TV, 1981 TV trailer. Here we go. Oh, I got to share this. Hang on here. See, and that's the nice thing. I'm not monetized or anything, so I don't, if they want to cut my stream, they totally can. Here we go. Volume on full.
How did Ryan O'Neal become so successful? By accident.
This is sensational. Since when is your dad selling jeans?
Fabulous.
We've got a real phenomenon going here, Dad. So Fine, a revealing comedy about reaching the top by way of the bottom. So Fine, rated R. Starts Friday, September 25th. Check newspapers for local listing.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Oh, I'm gonna have to go and look at that. That may be worth forcing Johnny to watch. That looks really good. Thank you there, Wild. Oh my goodness, that looks awesome. Hello, Steve. How you doing? Good to see you. Half an hour ago. Hopefully you're still here. Hello. I know. I hear ya. That's not being a sheeple, though. They hide things in bills and papers that get passed like 800 pages, and the agreement we just press. Yeah, it is. It's a lot like the terms and services thing. They put a whole bunch of shit in there that we have no idea is in there, and they just rubber stamp it, and it's passed. And we don't know that they've passed these laws until they decide to, start enacting them, probably all at once when they're trying to take over. Last year, BC passed a bill. Oh man, I think it was 81 or 31. I can't remember, and the numbers always mix up with me. But they passed a bill in BC, and they passed a similar one in most of the other provinces and territories, basically saying the next time the Canadian government wants to declare a national emergency, it's giving the UN the right to then come into BC and take control of whatever property or building or land that they want, take it over for purposes of the national emergency. They don't have to, reimburse the owners for the stuff that they're taking, and they don't have to give it back when the national emergency is deemed over. So the next time we declare a national emergency, the UN the laws are sitting in place. They could walk in and just basically take over huge swaths of Canada. And that's another thing I do not agree with. I don't like that we have passed such laws. I don't think the UN should have any control over us. We're a sovereign nation. They shouldn't have the right to come in and just take whatever. But our government, in bills that are thousands of pages long, that we never get to read or look at. They pass these things. Um, it's just, yeah. And when they finally decide to enact them all, we're going to be hooped and it's going to be a fight. Oh, and David Nelson, good to see you too. Mr. Q saying you're kind of right. People are lazy. Well, yeah, kind of, but we've been bred that way. You know, if you're not working full time, 40 plus, and taking cuttings and baling your own hay, so to speak, then you have too much free time. See, Mr. Q, you're right. And that's the thing. That's the only reason I know everything I do know is because I had way too much free time. I couldn't work. And so I started looking into stuff that I was curious about. And that is why I know everything I know. Unfortunately, there aren't enough people like me who know this stuff and sharing that information out. Like my stepmom is forever going, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know this stuff? It's like, because I actually have the time. I can go and look into these things. I can do the deep dive research that most people don't have the time to do because they're so busy working to exist. You know, David Nelson. Yeah, I think it was Iowa. I think it was Iowa. But one of them was allegedly had just passed the Sunday law, the blue laws, but I couldn't find anything about it. So they may very well have done it and just are keeping it on the down low. That's possible as well. We do need another Sam Adams, Jefferson, and Madison to show up and fuck some shit up. You guys do it that way. Yeah, I've said all along, I don't think Canada needs to do that. I don't think we need a civil war in Canada to fix Canada. And lo and behold, separating the country is a wonderful way to do it. There's no fighting, no loss of life. It's all paperwork. I think that would be a lovely way to go about it. Yeah, Wild is saying maybe Indiana. I know it starts with an I. I'm pretty sure it was Iowa that they had said. I think. Yeah. There are still blue laws in some southern states. Illinois, says Mr. Q. Interesting. I didn't know that. Dazer is saying shops that sell fresh goods can open for only 6 hours on Sundays in the UK. So you've got blue laws over there still too. Interesting. Hello, Rusty. Good to see you. Utah would be more closer to follow what I say state. Yeah, no, it definitely a state that started with an I, and it was a heavily Christian state. Not very many Christians follow the Seventh-day Sabbath. Most Christian denominations by now have switched over to worshiping on Sunday. So for the bulk of Christians in North America, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. And like I was saying, I thought they were going to pass it with the first Jesuit Pope back during COVID because he even made statements to that effect. Look at how wonderful the environment is. Look at how clear the skies are since everyone was locked down and everything got shut off. We should do this. We should give the world a weekly day of rest. We should do this. And I thought for sure he would, that's how the Sunday law would come into effect, but he didn't push it. He chose instead to make LGBTQ stuff palatable for the Catholic Church. Mr. Q, I know my American. There's 3 I states. Fair enough. Australia has to get a rocket that leaves the launch platform first, right? That was funny. Oh my gosh, was that funny? And the fact that who was it, like Thailand or something, did so much better than them. That was great too. Yeah. Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Idaho, that's 4. Oh, there you go. There you go, Mr. Q. Yeah. No, I really can't remember. Make Jesus trend. I don't know. In this day and age, we might be able to make it trend in the Western social media, but um, there's an awful lot of people being killed because they're Christians in the rest of the world that we just don't hear about. Syria, for example, is really doing a good job of wiping out all Christians at the moment. Um, yeah, but we don't hear about that stuff. It's weird. AP says we can do it. We're just going to be violent about it. See, yeah, you guys can do it, and you guys will have your civil war, and you'll fix your country. And I think you guys, in a way, you do need that civil war. You guys are fighters. You do. You like to be violent about things. Us Canucks, we'd much rather just nice and agree to disagree, shake hands, and walk away to our separate corners and be done with it. The less hassle, the better when talking about Canucks. We want things to be as easy as possible. There's only one God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, brother. Yeah, no, that was weird. That hit me as much, as it did. Hulk Hogan is not in the world anymore. That's kind of that's a weirdness. It was like when Queen Elizabeth died. It was like, wow, that was just a big thing that's ended. And for whatever reason, Hulk Hogan was the same, hit me the same way. Bishop is saying, I hate being alive. You know what, hon? There are good days and there are bad days, but at the end of the day, I much prefer life. I will put up with a lot of crap because those good times are really, really good and they're worth it. There's a lot of shitty, sucky days too. I understand that. I get my fair share of them. But at the end of the day, as hard as it can be, the good parts are just too good to be worth giving up on, Canada should never have given up its guns. We haven't. They have made some guns illegal, but we haven't actually given up any. The Trudeau government actually paid like billions of dollars of taxpayer money on a gun buyback program that bought back exactly 0 guns, but it's cost billions of dollars. So it worked. But we still have our guns, most of them, for the most part. Oh, Rusty, I know the autocorrect sucks. I know. Texas has more people than Canada and a bigger GDP. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. You guys have got a lot of people in that large land, and we've got a lot more land. So I wouldn't be surprised if Texas has more people than Canada. Would be a great way to reinvigorate trade. There. Oh no, where is it? Okay. No, we're back too far. So I missed it. It'd be a great way to reinvigorate trade. I'm not sure what would be a great way to do it, but that's okay. That was, only a half an hour ago. Most Americans are bad at geography. Yeah. Again, it's just education systems have dumbed us down. Rusty's saying, I've just accepted being a bigot. I wear it as a patch on my sleeve. Yeah, at the end of the day, I am every ism there is, because I've got opinions that do not go with the status quo. So I am any name they want to throw at me. It is what it is at this point. I'm quite proud to be a pureblood. I never took a single jab, and it was very interesting. My very big pharma friendly doctor only asked me once, and then my pharmacy would call and mention a few times that they have a shot there ready and waiting for me if I wanted to take it. But the big pharma doctor that I have, who loves prescriptions, the more pills, the higher dose, the better. We're gonna pill you to death or to health, whichever comes first. But she only asked me once. It was quite nice. So yeah, I am a pureblood. I am proud of it, and yeah, they can call me whatever name they want. At the end of the day, I'm confident enough in my own decisions and what I understand to be true or right. Um, I'm okay with that. They can call me whatever they want to call me. AP, going back to the royal thing. If there's a gorgeous princess though, that's into disappointment though, count me in. There you go. FDR dropped 2 bombs that brought him to his knees. Yeah, no one cares for God, king, or country anymore. Exactly. Everyone is too involved in self. The family unit disappeared shortly after, or at the same time as God was kind of erased from um, our national idea and understanding. And we've brought in so many people from so many different countries with completely different moral standards. It the laws that were it's a famous quote, and I don't know which one of your people said it, but the laws were written will only work as long as there is a moral Christian citizenry to enact and live by it. We've got too many people with different senses of moral values now to that don't care to follow the law, and that we ourselves, and I'm not just talking about people who have moved into the country, we ourselves, we've been so dumbed down and worn out and tired out that we just don't care anymore. If we, even if we have the time to consider things like God and world politics and stuff, there's nothing we can do to fix it. So, who cares? Mr. Q is saying it's a good thing we buy railroad cars full of lumber from Canada. So I'm helping to keep the fire danger down or from being worse. See, you're part of our only lasting fire prevention is our lumber. That clear cutting. But yeah, BC's got an awful lot of that lumber that you're buying. We've got quite a bunch of that stuff. It's coming from us over here. Hello, Mighty. How you doing? Can we stop burning down Canada? The smoke is getting ridiculous. I feel like St. Floyd. I can't breathe. I know. But I keep saying did keep saying it's not my fault. We're not on fire, but it's official. BC's on fire as well. So at least the stuff that's rolling over Washington State, that's definitely our fault. So my apologies. But the problem, Mighty, is that the East Coast is now burning too. They staved it off a little longer because that's where the government is, but they've got to do it there too. They need to prove that climate change is a thing. If they're going to pass the lovely carbon tax that we have here in Canada that taxes everything every step of the way, they're trying to pass it in the EU right now as well. The carbon tax is a thing, and they want to make it at some point. That's going to be the whole, but they can only really push the carbon tax onto people if people believe in climate change. So yeah, no fire prevention across the country means lots more fires, which means, see, we're killing the world. We need to tax you more. Mr. Q, I will never live in a populated area or visit to the city is enough for me. I'm at the same point in my life. Yeah, I don't ever want to be that close to a city anymore. There's no way. Everyone, whether they're conservative or liberal, they're all in this little hive mind, and there's no room for free thought at all. There's no room for questioning anything. I need to live outside the city. Um, I need to be able to make my own decisions. Yeah, the human spirit has come through in the past when things seemed bleak. Good always overcame evil before becoming complacent. And yeah, and that's where we're at. We're at that point again. We're either gonna, in my opinion, we're at that point in the history of life. Either the good is going to overcome evil, and we're gonna get back. We're gonna grasp back some of that golden era. Um, or it really is the end days, and Jesus will come back and everything will be done once and for all and everyone's going to be good, uh one way or another. But either which way, we're at, we're at the dark end of things. So yeah, one way or another, it has to, the good times are coming back. And I mean, there's the asteroid in 2029 that could potentially take us out. Allegedly, Mighty was telling us last night about there's a potential alien mothership just outside our way that's been watching us. There's all sorts of interesting stuff that could be taking us out in the near future from out there. So, one way or another, I think we're at the end days. Survival of the fittest. Yeah. And the only reason I know it won't happen that way is because they said if you think you know how it's gonna how the end will come, that's guaranteed to be the way it won't come. But what with the Nebuchadnezzar's dream in Daniel about the statue, what was it that crushed the feet of iron and clay? Well, it was a rock unhewn by human hands. So that kind of sounds a lot like an astronaut to me, or an astronaut. It sounds an awful lot like an asteroid to me. So, who knows? Hello, Lexi. How you doing, love? Good to see you. Marky Mark. Yes. Marky Mark. Okay. I was fairly certain it wasn't Donnie. I had a huge crush on Donnie as a little girl in the New Kids on the Block era. Yeah, Donnie was my new kid. But I couldn't remember his brother's name. It was Marky Mark with the abs in the Calvin Klein. Yeah, that's the ad that did it for me when I was of a certain age. Wild is saying the smoke in Michigan is terrible. Yeah, apparently the smoke is really, really bad over on the East Coast right now. They're having some hard times with the fire. So on behalf of all Canadians everywhere, I am sorry for the smoke that you guys have to inhale. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. Are you saying it was especially crazy today? Today was the worst it has been. Well, Johnny was saying that they were doing some preventative fire measures with the controlled burns over his way, Minnesota. So if, Washington State can get smoke from BC and Alberta, I'm pretty sure that you guys can pick up some smoke, some extra smoke from Minnesota too. So maybe that's why it made it especially crazy today. Richard Keel. Richard Keel. Oh no, that was 20 minutes ago. And I don't know why we're talking about Richard Keel. Oh no, I So Fine. That's the movie. That's right. I'm like, I just saw that name. Where did I see that name? From the So Fine the movie. Right. That I'm going to force Johnny to watch with me. As I accidentally closed the wrong thing again. Where is my there? Yes. So Fine the movie. That's right. And I will find a way to watch it, and I will make Johnny watch it with me, and then we will come back and let you know how much fun it was watching. Lexi's asking, are you familiar with the Chicken Banana song or the Yes Dance? I am now. Johnny is saying, no. I am very, very familiar with that Chicken Banana. Yes Dance now. Thanks to Twitch. And there is, yeah, Mighty talking to Jeffrey. I knew you guys should connect. Yeah, we should Netflix and chill your island, bud. Right? And yes, Lexi, Johnny definitely knows the Chicken Banana song. That womp 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 at the end just throws me immediately back into the rave, like my youth and raving on, the beach as the sun is rising, and you're just ecstasied to the gills, and that's what you're hearing and feeling is that womp 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 womp, and the sun is rising, and you're on a beach and the sand, and oh yeah, every time I hear that Chicken Banana and the womp 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 just takes me right back there. And Mr. Q's, yeah, letting them know. Women are here to force you to do stuff that you don't want to do so that you can get them to do stuff that they don't necessarily want to do. It's right. It's a give and take. You'll watch Flesh Gordon with me and I don't know. I'll watch a certain Western movie with you. Neither of us necessarily enjoyed it, but we did it because we love each other and it's okay. Mr. Q, make it sound so fair. Well, it kind of is, Lexi, if you can just, be adults about it. It kind of is, If you're not a member of the UN, it shouldn't matter. Yes, but amazing. I'm in Canada. We are a member of the UN. In fact, we're going to go there in September and recognize the state of Palestine. So it unfortunately, those bills did matter for us. Mr. Q saying, my girl is happy even though I'm a dick. Just got to work for my lovin'. Aw. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll put up with a bit of dickishness because, we're occasionally bitchy. So again, it's that give and take, AP is saying, what I was getting at is of our states that follow the 7-day stuff are in the West. All of your, okay. In Illinois and Indiana, not so much. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's the 7th day stuff that would be impeded. So that's why I was saying a very heavily Christian state probably would be the one to pass the Sunday law. That's why AP left them out. So he does know his geography. He just left them out on purpose. Syria was mostly Christian before Muslim genocide. Yep. Hello, Riding Dirty Llama. Princess Diana and Michael Jackson. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Well, I don't know. Michael Jackson affected me, but not that much. But you're right. Princess Diana was that actually made an impact on my life. The death of Princess Diana. You're right. Michael Jackson, not so much. I mean, I love his music, but I was never a diehard Michael Jackson fan. So, and by the time he passed, he'd been doing a bunch of weird stuff anyways. It looked like, he was going the route of the drugs. So whether he was doing it on purpose or being prescribed them or what, I have no idea. But yeah, I wasn't surprised when Michael Jackson passed. Mighty is saying, speaking of violence, Thailand and Cambodia are at war still. Okay. Pray for those stunning and brave lady boys. They are the best of both worlds. Are they still? I thought someone had managed to broker a peace deal already. I thought. Maybe I am wrong. They've been wiping out Christians in Syria and Armenia forever, since like the 80s. That was the whole Croatian war was about. Yeah, I was just it's interesting that we don't hear about any of that. We also don't hear about the many, many, many Christian churches that are being torched across Canada. We don't hear that at all. We hear very little about, except when a Christian church dares to host a Christian singer in a Christian concert on their Christian church grounds. Then you hear about the Christian church in Canada, but otherwise you don't really hear much about Christians. AP says, I'm too bitter and stubborn to die. There you go. Yeah, I want to just sit back and laugh. Continue to do as I'm doing. Sit back, eat the popcorn, have my drink, and just enjoy the show. It's off the rails like a crazy train. But yeah, I don't think there's any fixing us, the world as it stands right now. I don't think there's any fixing us. In my opinion, the next good period of time will be when Jesus comes again, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to be able to rally in the world again. I don't think there's going to be another rally for the sake of good. I think that time is over. But I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. Yes, they did. They banned shovels, tyrannical bastards. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't stop selling them all. And so they're not. It's one of those laws that's there, but it's not going to be enacted until they need to. And then they're going to enact all these secret surprise laws all at the same time, and we're going to be hooped. We may not have actually given up all of our guns yet, but we definitely do have registration. Our government knows exactly where every single legal gun is in the country at every moment. It's the illegal ones that they don't know about. Yeah, maybe they should try and go after those illegal guns as opposed to all the illegal ones. And hey, that's just me. Mr. Q is agreeing with AP, too bitter and stubborn to die. Dazzler is saying he works on the premise that only the good die young, so he's going to live forever. That works. More land, but everyone lives within 50 miles of the border. You're not wrong. It's really rugged and wild out here. There's a whole lot of undeveloped land out here. It's really rugged, and people just didn't bother. Why bother? Pushing out and expanding further if we don't have to. Everything we need is within 50 miles of the border. It's good. We are all united in prions. There you go. Yeah. I won't go into that one. Yeah, Slidey Pie is a pure blood too. Mr. Q's feeling sorry for his kids growing up in a world of idiots. Yeah, that's the thing that I feel bad about is my nieces and nephews. Like I said, my eldest nephew is like 24, maybe 25. And then the youngest was born in December. So I've got nieces and nephews that run the gamut. And I do feel really bad for them. The world that they're going to inherit is gone to shit, and it's been run so poorly, so corruptly for so long. Yeah, I don't know that there's any fixing it. That's why us Gen Xers were called the apathetic generation. What else should we have but apathy? The world is fucked. We can see that it's fucked. We have no control or power, so there's no way for us to fix it. So fuck it. Who cares? Let's just try to enjoy our existence as long as we have it, and just deal with that. There's no sense against railing against the machine. The machine has already won. We just haven't fully acknowledged it yet. And Wild's another pure blood. Yep. Yeah, I'm the only pure blood in my family. So in my entire extended family, I'm the only pure blood. So yeah, there's that. I'm also one of the few family members that live far enough away from the coast that when the big one happens and the tsunami actually hits, I'll be safe. Most of my family will be underwater. My mom likes to joke that if the big one happens, or she also liked to joke about the clot shot. You know, if I was right and they were wrong, then I'm going to end up being a fairly well-off woman because the whole family on all sides, they've all died. So I'm the only one left to inherit. Me and my little brothers. I've got 2 little brothers who live in the Okanagan. They and I will be all that's left of our families if the big one finally hits. So we'll be somewhat well off. AP and Mr. Q are talking about kids. Yeah, I'm not able to have them, so don't have that. Amazing, you're not seeing Mighty because he's over in Rumble. That's the only problem. I mean, they've got this new thing. I could, in theory, do that. And then if you guys started talking, the chats would come on screen like that. The only problem with that is now I have to police now I have to be aware of what's being said as it's being said. This way I can choose which ones to show. But because I choose which ones to show, you guys in Rumble don't get to see the friends in YouTube and vice versa. You got to talk through the hopes that I will put your bubbles up for you, like I did just there. Oh, poor Mr. Q. He's got a daughter who's 32 and one of those tards. She's fully mental health obsessed. So she's one of the victimology kiddos. Hello, Danielle. Danielle, how are you doing? Sorry, Daniel. Hello, Danielle. How are you doing? Mighty Meat is crossing his fingers on the 2029 asteroid. Yeah, I would like to think that would be the way to go because it's happening fairly quickly. Let's just, stop the world. It's time to get off. Let's just end this game and start anew. Mr. Q is saying, I know it's bad to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had a grandkid born trans, so to speak. Not what I wanted. Yeah, I know. My religious family members would have preferred that some of the younger kids in the family didn't decide to be, gay or trans or anything like that. I don't think it's because God said no, though. I think it's because they genuinely are concerned for them. But that's the world that we're in too. It's kind of, it's better to have a victimology right now. The good news is the pendulum is swinging back the other way, Mr. Q. So perhaps by the time, she's 32, by the time she has kids and they're old enough to be worried about stuff like that, hopefully that pendulum will have swung enough back that they won't get caught up in it. What was her name? Jasmine, I think. The boy who transed into a girl on TV. Yeah, I think they called her Jazz. But anyway, she's come out now. She is not happy. She's being very vocal about her not having wanted this and her life being forever fucked because of having been told that she wanted this and grown up doing it on TV. So, well, don't attack my hand and then get mad when I try and scritch you back. Hey, don't pick on your sister either. She picks a fight with me and then she can't because I'm stronger. So she hops off and hops on to Boo, who was just politely, quietly laying there, doing nothing, minding her own business. Come on, Boobers. Hey, come on up. Either which way, it's 10 to 6 my time. So it's almost time to call it a night anyways. That's probably why they're getting antsy. It's almost food time. So let's see if I can get through here. Yeah, fingers crossed on that 2029 asteroid. Mr. Q, as long as she's just having the kids now, hopefully your grandkids won't get sucked into all the nonsense with the trans and stuff. Dazzer is telling Mighty he keeps getting his hopes up with all these asteroids, but then they keep missing. I know, right? AP is saying, Mr. Q, I can fix her. And he's joking. But in all seriousness, kids are bombarded by moronic thoughts constantly, and they have to be headstrong to resist it. Yes, and they're not being taught how to be headstrong. Um, Parents haven't been taught how to think critically, so how can they teach their kids how to do so, right? Hello, squid people. Hello, is this a raid perhaps? Did I miss a thing saying raid? Either which way, hello, squid people. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Johnny says, no, I refuse to watch that movie. Well, so fine. The movie is pulled up in my search thing. It's got a tab and everything. I will not forget it accidentally. It's there. I will. I will find a way to watch it. And you may refuse to watch that movie, but I will watch it because it looks stupid enough to be entertaining. Wild is saying Johnny will absolutely love that movie. See? And Steve really loved that movie, so fine. So he's a boy and he enjoyed it. So who knows? Maybe the movie So Fine will be better for you than Flesh Gordon. But we won't know until we watch it, will we? Mr. Q, this is almost 2 years of Canada smoke every summer. It's not even like really the first time there's been a Canadian fire. It's just the first time that it's been at ground level from that far. Yeah, well, like I said, the fire preventative measures throughout the year, they kept happening in the East Coast for quite a while. But yeah, I'd say the last 3-4 years, you've started to see the results of not doing fire preventative measures in the East Coast, and you guys are seeing it and experiencing it. And like I was saying, it's been quite nice the last couple of summers. I don't think we've had any smoke so low it's touching the ground, which is really nice because, for a few years, that's all it was. It was that constant orange haze, like the horror movie orange haze to everything. And the smoke was so thick, it was resting on the ground. So you're literally swimming through smoke. It was awful. And it wasn't lovely campfire wood smoke smell. No, this was awful chemical burning cities smell. Not anywhere near as pleasant. So I do apologize on behalf of Canada for all the smoke you guys may be inhaling. Mea culpa, our government sucks. Hello, squid. How you doing, hon? Let's see. Oh, those were the days. I love those cheesy old movies. Sometimes you just need to laugh, right? And I mean, Flesh Gordon is, yeah, technically it was supposed to be like a porn, but it's so ridiculously silly. You can't not laugh at it, you know? Canada's butt belongs to British rule. Yeah, and like I said, it's another reason why, the Republic of Western Canada is a great idea. It was just neat, simple, cut ties. Don't worry about them. They won't worry about us. And then, we're all happier. Raiders of the Lost Squid. I like that. Oh, there you go. See, Squid agrees. Mr. Squid is a dick, but I'm more than a little bit bitchy, so it works. That's exactly it. It's a give and take thing, right? And Buck is getting in there with there are 4 states that start with the letter I. Di made more of an impact. Yeah, she made quite the impact on that pillar. She really did. AP saying, I know geography quite well. I knew that was going to come up. Yeah, I know you covered your butt earlier. Never had a celebrity death bother me, I guess, especially if they were older and had a good career. This is Mr. Q. Yeah, it's not that it. Yeah, it's not like I got sad. But the world changed for me when Elizabeth died. Like it was a different world. And the same when Princess Di died. It was a different, darker world suddenly. It's the same with 9/11. The world was just different. A whole new level of evil, Michael Jackson's death didn't do that to me for whatever reason. Honestly, I hate to say it. Ozzy's death didn't do it as much for me as Hulk Hogan's did. I mean, for me, wrestling is in my blood. It's it is just a thing. Wrestling has always been there. And Hulk Hogan was, yeah, probably the first celebrity that I ever really understood as a celebrity. So he's always been there, and it's definitely a different world for me now that Hulk Hogan's not here. But it hasn't necessarily saddened me. Like I'm not crying, but it changed my worldview. It changed my perspective. Slidey Pie saying Princess Di's death hit me hard. She and I were the same age. There you go. See, and I'm right in between the boys. Or sorry, I think I'm a year older than William. Yeah, I'm like right around the same age as William. So I'm sure that would affect me a lot more. But yeah, her death affected me because that was the point in my life when I stopped believing in fairy tales. You know, I was early to mid-teens. She died in what, 94? So I would have been 13 or 14, something like that. Amazing Disgrace is saying A Day in History covers Christian genocide pretty well. Day in History, I haven't watched that in a while. You're talking about the YouTube one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched them in a while. So I've got them open in tab so I can remind myself to do that. Because, yeah, that would be interesting. You really don't hear about Christian genocide at all over here. Mr. Q says, I was not a kid that all of a sudden cared about Kurt Cobain after he died. Yeah, see, Kurt Cobain's death didn't faze me. I didn't really get into his music until after he was dead. My little brother, he's 2 years younger than me. Kurt Cobain's death definitely affected him. His best friend and his girlfriend at the time, they did a road trip out to Seattle. I think it was for the like the 5-year anniversary of his death. The three of them did a road trip out to Seattle to do the tour of all the, Kurt Cobain locations and stuff. That really shook my brother's world. Me, not so much. I kind of skipped past Nirvana and got right into a bunch of other bands. I enjoyed Nirvana, but I was never a die-hard Nirvana fan. So it didn't really shake the foundations of my world. The Antiochian Eastern Orthodox Church in the Cincinnati area has some Christian Syrians there. Okay. Interesting. We just want to be near the warmth of the USA. Yeah, that's true too. That's why we're all within 50 miles of the border. We need to be near the warmth and the majesty, the awesomeness that is America. Wild is saying, I remember getting up early in Texas before work to watch the wedding. Yeah, Prince Charles and Princess Di. I remember the first time I watched the wedding. I don't think I watched it live. I don't even know what year did they get married in. I just remember seeing the wedding and thinking it was a real life fairy tale. When did Charles marry Lady Di? 81. Yeah, see, I was born in 79. So if my memory is of watching it live, it would have been because my mom was watching it. My mom's mom was a nurse for England. She was born in South Wales. She was a nurse in World War II. That's how she met my granddad. They got married over there. She came here So my mom is definitely a fan of the royal family. Huge fan. So maybe, yeah, maybe I do remember seeing it as it happened in real life. Perhaps I do remember because I was alive. I just remember thinking it was a real life fairy tale, just being in awe. But I know I was very little, so that does kind of make sense. Pure blood and didn't get the virus that I know of. Me too. It's the weirdest thing. My ex, um, he works in a drugstore. He worked all the way through that COVID time. He never got the shots. Neither of us got COVID, even though his coworkers who did get the shots and boosters, they did and still do regularly come down with COVID, and it just knocks them right out. A few of his coworkers are permanently ill with serious health issues. Um, but even though he was working in amongst all the sickies and he did not take the shot, he never got it and he never brought it home to me. I have a depressed immune system. I catch everything. I can't not get sick. If I make eye contact with a newborn baby from across the room, I will get sick. And yet I never had COVID. So yeah, I don't know. I think it works a lot like the flu shot. The more often they get it, the more likely you are to get sick. That's just my opinion. By this point, everyone has made their decision, so hopefully I'm allowed to have that opinion. Like the big one of 29, we're talking Demolition Man now. Um, oh, and Mighty's saying, "Hey, amazing! I'm chilling over here in the ghetto." Yeah, we were when we first moved to the coast. That would have been 87 or 88, something like that. We were warned at that time that the big one would be there any day now. And the big one still hasn't happened. It's 2025. So the big one will definitely happen soon. But yeah, when it happens, I mean, the 8.8 from Russia, that's the same fault line, I believe. So yeah, it will happen sooner rather than later. Wild is saying she got married shortly after Diana. Her sons were 18 months apart, and it was like watching her become a mom when I did. And thought, damn, I wish I had maids and a nanny. Right? Right? It's a lovely thing about being royalty when you're a mom. You know, you've got all the spare hands to help you in the world. Dazzer's agreeing with Wild. Yeah, she was so young and he was just a dirty old man with a side piece. Right? He was always a dirty old man. Even when he was young, even when he was a teenager, he was a dirty old man. I've heard people say that he was a playboy and good looking. I'm sorry, no. No, he was always oddly shaped. Um, and he was always a creepy old guy. You know, he's just had that, about him. She did bring some beauty and fashion to that palace. She also brought the modern age to the royal family. I don't think the royal family would have survived to this point if not for Diana. Um, I really don't think it would have survived. Her gowns, her jewels, everything was perfection. I know. Do you remember? I still get goosebumps watching her dance with oh shoot, not Sinatra, John. Saturday Night Fever. It's on the tip of my tongue. But no, when she danced with him, I still get goosebumps watching them spin around the floor. Just phenomenal. She was a beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah. So glad you weren't her. The ugly behind the facade was horrible to bear. And that's why I worry about Catherine. I really worry about Catherine. And she is so very, very tiny, like Di as well. She's fit, but she's tiny. And she really does have that same fragility to her. Um, I love, love, love Catherine. if she was going to be the queen, if she took over from Queen Elizabeth, I may have been willing to accept them as my, you know, I might be, but Prince Charles and William are both, yeah, I have no need for them in my life, controlling my country. Good night, Wild. You be well. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we've been going for 2 hours, 5 minutes. I'm pretty much caught up. Oh, wait a minute. Liddy Carey. Guess who? Hello. Hello. Firstborn Unicorn. How you doing? Good to see you. You guys, if you haven't already, if you are over on Rumble, here on Rumble, check out Firstborn Unicorn. Mighty specifically, check out Firstborn Unicorn. She is lovely. She does parody songs, some really great parody songs. You Dazzer, you boys will love it. I'm pretty sure I've dropped her link in the jukebox at some point. AP, if I paint a red X on the ground and park my crippled self in the center, will the asteroid hit me first? I wonder. I don't know. I was thinking like a lightning rod might help. You know, maybe the lightning can get to me before, so I don't have to wait till 2029 for the asteroid. Yeah. Jeffrey Montgomery, hello. Squid Pro Quo sent me. Nice to see you. I love all you guys and your Muppets, your Muppet characters. I did not get a chance to play with that Make Me Into a Muppet app, but that looks like fun. Oh, ADL is wrapping up already. That was quick. My goodness. Mighty saying Cobain didn't end his life. He creatively painted the ceiling. Well, I'm of a belief, after the research that I've done into the subject, that a certain someone got a certain male someone to help a certain other someone to leave life, whether he wanted to or not. So that is the tinfoil hat theory, and I'd be inclined to believe it, even though he was suicidal in general. The way he went, it just seems... it's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult to do. So I much prefer the theory that someone got their boy toy to do it. But that's just me. And I'm out. Yes, I know. You guys all just got here and now I'm off. Hard Bastard. Oh, Hard Bastard. That sounds like fun. All right. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much Travolta. Thank you. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty much caught up now. Unicorn was supposed to be capitalized. I didn't do that right. Sorry. Firstborn Unicorn. Oh, and Unicorn is with the Q. Oh, I'm so sorry, hon. Firstborn Unicorn with the Q on Rumble, and she's got really great parodies. On that note, I'm going to call it. The girls just got settled, but they're going to be up in a second. I just have to get off the chair. Yes, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I don't know why I'm afraid to say that stuff. I say stuff that I'm really could get in trouble for saying. But yeah, I believe, in my opinion, and only my opinion, do your own research. I think Courtney Love got her little boy toy, who was also staying at the house, to do it for Kurt. I don't think Kurt expected it. I don't think he had any knowledge of it. I think he was probably high as a freaking kite and doing the nods, and Courtney's boy toy came up and did it. In my opinion, do your own research, and allegedly does save my butt, as does this tinfoil hat. On that note, you guys have a great evening. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you Monday morning on Just Kidding LLC, or Monday afternoon here chatting with friends. So you guys have a wonderful time.
Topics change from day to day. Science, art, or history's play. No path ancient lord of future dreams. Every question finds its gleam.